was just calling. No,
Oh,
I'm
actually, oh yeah.
I was just
They
calling.
do.
But listen, put your stuff down. Put your stuff down.
Oh, Dan's not coming today?
And look, I'm all the way over here by myself. I gotta actually yell for you to hear me.
Good evening, everyone. This first, right?
What?
This first, right?
Yeah. That means you're opening the meeting now. That's fine.
Yeah, we have enough.
You have a quorum, right? Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. This is a regular business meeting of the Board of Education pursuant to New Jersey statutes and rules adopted by the Board of Education. Notice of this meeting was sent to the Star Ledger and Cablevision of Elizabeth on Friday, March 9, 2018. In addition, this notice is posted on the bulletin board in the lobby of 500 North Broad Street. And pursuant to this act, a copy has been filed with the City Clerk of Elizabeth, New Jersey. We want to welcome everyone present here at J. Christian Bollwage Academy of Finance and to our television viewers to this March 15, 2018 March meeting of the Board of Education. Is everybody hear that? We are here to govern, provide management oversight, and make policy for the district. The superintendent manages the district. This is a meeting of the board in public, not a meeting of the public. This meeting is being recorded and will become part of the Elizabeth Board of Education permanent record. In order that the recording will be adequately reflecting the proceedings, please refrain from talking while others are speaking. We also ask that you silence your sound on your electronic devices, since it is legally mandated that these proceedings be accurately recorded. We may have to ask for order periodically should noise begin to interfere with our recording capabilities. We are pleased that you have taken this time this evening to join us here for the Board of Education meeting. Thank you for your interest in the Elizabeth Public Schools. There will be a public portion for citizens to address the public and the board. Participants for the public portion may sign in up to the start of the meeting so that they may have the opportunity to speak. The sign-in sheet states the name, address, telephone number, and reason that the person wants to comment, whether it is an agenda item or a general education meeting. Mr. Kennedy, roll call, please.
Barbosa.
Here.
Bathalis.
Here.
Gonsalves.
Here.
Jacobs.
Here.
Marino Ortega.
Present.
Neron. Nina. Rodriguez. Carvalho.
Present. All rise. Presentation of colors by the Admiral William F. Halsey, Jr., Health and Public Safety Academy, JROTC. The Pledge of Allegiance will be said by Anthony Yant, 9th grade student, and Shirlene Jean Marie, 10th grade student, at the J. Christian Bollwage Finance Academy.
Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing, testing.
Is this microphone? Good evening. My name is Anthony Yant, and this is Charlene Jane Marie. Would you all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? See everyone's up? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
Which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Star Spangled Banner by Francis Scott Key.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Round of applause for our Admiral William F. Halsey, Jr., Health and Public Safety Academy, JROTC. Very proudly run this month by a young lady. Thank you. Please remain standing for the Pledge of Ethics that will be said by Shirlene Jean Marie from the J. Christian Bollwage Finance Academy, 10th grade student.
As a member of the Elizabeth Public Schools professional learning community, I will treat people as I wish to be treated. To do that, I pledge to understand the school community. attention and not interrupting. Speak in a calm voice and use proper language. Dress appropriately for teaching and learning. Inspire the best of myself and others by celebrating success and learning from mistakes. Care about others by demonstrating acts of kindness. Be a lifelong learner by taking every opportunity to learn from others.
Thank you. Please be seated. Good evening, everyone. Before we begin our performances tonight, I would like to do a little housekeeping and put some things in order. We received the message today, and I think it's important that everyone at home and everyone that's here tonight understands all the hard work that's being put into making sure we pass a budget that is fair to our citizens and continues to provide all of the services that our students need. On March 27th, we will have a special meeting of the board to vote on the preliminary budget for 2018-2019. Early indications are such that we will be adding a significant number of new certified positions to meet growing demands, and that will do so without the need to increase taxes. We received notice today from the New Jersey Department of Education that we will receive an increase in our state aid, and we have worked very hard to put those funds to use in balancing our budget. Thank you. At this time, we are going to hear and have a performance by the William F. Halloran School Number 22 Jazz Band. Manteca, did I say that right? Manteca by Dizzy Gillespie. You guys came so far, you have to do two. Wonderful job. Bless you. Jiva Samba, correct? Performed by William F. Halloran School Number 22, Jazz Band. A little samba. Great job. Special thank you to School 22, Principal Chiafero and Ms. Reguino, their Vice Principal, for letting us borrow your students for tonight, our neighbors. How about another round of applause for our School 22 Jazz Band? Thank you. They could outdo any wedding band. These kids are amazing.
They were great.
They sure were. Next, we have something really special for everyone. Soft Shoe Feast dance performed by Lucy Sneeden, first grade student of Victor Mravlak, School 21. Siamsa. How beautiful was that? Happy St. Patrick's Day. Thank you to her mom, who's one of our amazing teachers here in our school district also. It was a great performance. Thank you. A special thank you to the William F. Halloran School Number 22 Jazz Band and Victor Mravlak School 21 Lucy Sneeden for your excellent performance to start off our meeting tonight. Yes. At this time, we're going to play our core beliefs.
We believe all students can learn and achieve at high levels regardless of race, ethnicity, culture, neighborhood, household income, or home language.
All means all. We will narrow the achievement gap of our students by providing a high-quality education so that all our students are college and career ready.
We believe teachers make a positive difference in student achievement. Teachers will prepare all students for success in college, career, and our technological global society.
We believe that teachers are central in a child's life. Having an effective teacher is the single most important factor in student success.
We believe that effective leaders demonstrate unwavering commitment to high levels of achievement for all students.
Leaders will exemplify and support practices that promote high levels of achievement for all students.
We believe that parents and caregivers are both valued partners and active participants in their children's learning. A shared sense of mutual responsibility for learning is the foundation for family involvement to ensure student success.
We are committed to engaging parents and caregivers in their children's education. We will develop a coordinated strategy that enables parents and caregivers to play an active role in building and sustaining family support for their children's learning and academic success.
We believe that every member of the Elizabeth Public Schools team has responsibility in producing and supporting high levels of achievement for all students.
Every member of the Elizabeth Public Schools team will make a measurable contribution to the success and achievement of all students by ensuring equitable distribution of resources throughout the organization.
If I can have all the board members meet us out on the floor.
Good evening. I know, that was a little loud. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Thank you. All right, all right. It gives me great pleasure to be here tonight. As a board member, we are ecstatic to give the next awards out. The first award that I'm going to be giving is the Student Excellence Award. For the Elizabeth High School Speech and Debate Team. Our Student Excellence honorees for this evening are the Elizabeth High School Speech and Debate Team, who had a memorable season, including a trip to Harvard University and Cambridge, Massachusetts, the largest speech and debate tournament in the country, in which Elizabeth High School, Frank J. Ciccarell Academy Juniors, if I mess up your name, I apologize. Justin Doalos and Hunter Aleo were quarterfinalists in dual interpretations among 140 entries. Elizabeth High School junior Damian McCree was an octa-finalist, finishing among the top 50 in a dramatic interpretation and program oral interpretation that had 241 and 298 entries, respectively. And Alexandra Hamilton Preparatory Academy senior Andre Duran, who finished as a semifinalist in congressional debate and earned the leadership award in his chamber. The congressional debate tournaments featured over 450 contestants from 140 schools and over 20 states who competed in 26 preliminary chambers. Andre Duran also qualified this year to serve as a representative of the New Jersey Senate at the National Speech and Debate Association National Tournament in Fort Lauderdale, Florida in June. The team finished in the top 6 in 2 different tournaments that had at least 19 teams competing and had many top 6 individual finishes in a number of categories. Please join me in honoring the students and coaches of the Elizabeth High School Speech and Debate Team for their tremendous commitment and wonderful accomplishments. Please come forward as I call your name. Ariana Albovasco, Hunter Aleo, Daniel Cano, Justin Dulalas, Andrew Duran, Ian Flores, Oscar, please keep Kaplan, Oscar Herindo, excuse me, sorry Oscar, I like your suit though. Abigail Huachu, Oliver Eakin, Olivia, Fiona Joseph, Damian McCree, Rebecca Masanto, Louis Morel, Estabrook Musa, Stephen Urando, and the coaches, Renee Drummond and Brian Rodriguez. Please give our team here, our debate and speech team, a round of applause.
Good evening, everyone. Buenas noches. Our first star of excellence honoree for this evening are a ninth grade student, Anthony John. And a special education teacher, Tab Ledger. In the word of Bollwage Financial Academy principal, Dr. Megan Mars, Anthony Young leaves our district plate of ethics because he aspired the best in himself and others. Thank you, Anthony. Not only is Anthony a model Bollwage Finance Academy student, but also he makes model of other students. I let you know, as a teacher, I'm very proud of recognize him today. A student give their best greeting and lend their most helpful hands when around Anthony. A student and staff alike smile more because Anthony greet them. They laugh a little harder because Anthony have a good sense of humor. They help more because Anthony is a great helper and they want to be better people because Anthony is a good person. It is hard to articulate an unspoken magic that certain people pose. Tonight, we recognize Anthony John for sharing that magic with us. Tab Ledger, a special education teacher at Bollwage Financial District athletic coach, is Anthony John teacher. Thank you. In the short time, Mr. Ledger has been a member of Bollwage Financial Academy Learning Community. He has become an integral part through the work he has done with Anthony and other students to develop their academic abilities and, more important, their life skills. Mr. Ledger has supported Anthony by integrating him into his new program and the school community and opening his classroom to all the students who want to engage in learning with Anthony. He has challenged, very important word, challenge, Anthony to achieve new levels of development and share Anthony's good sense of humor, good nature, continence. As we recognize Anthony, we must recognize the person for nurturing passion for life and learning. Thank you, Mr. Ledger. Please join me in honoring these two valued members of Elizabeth Public School, J. Christian Bollwage Finance Academy Learner Community, Anthony John and Tom Ledger. Thank you. Very proud of you. Thank you so much for your service. We really appreciate it. I don't know who's number 3.
It's all about you guys. I think, who's next? Ready to get in there?
Yeah, you go. Ladies first. It is women's.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Bye, Anthony. Bye. Our next stars of excellence were honored with VIP, very important Produce Awards as part of the Fresh Fruit and Vegetable Program, the federal program which came to New Jersey for the first time in 2008-2009 school year. The program introduces students to new, healthier foods and increases their fruit and vegetable consumption, ultimately leading to lifelong dietary habits. Schools were required to serve only fresh fruits and vegetables to the students. They could only be served during the academic school day and not during the breakfast or lunch meal periods or during after-school programs. It had to be offered throughout the entire school year and offered as many times as possible during the school week. Qualifying schools must have 50% or more of the students eligible for free or reduced price lunch, must attempt to purchase locally grown fruits and vegetables, must publicize the program to ensure all students have access to the produce offered, and must partner with outside organizations to enhance nutrition education. So that was the qualifications. Now, please join me in congratulating George Washington Academy of Science and Engineering School #1 and Jerome Dunn Academy of Mathematics, Technology, and Arts School #9 for being selected as first place winners of the Fresh Fruit and Vegetables VIP, Very Important Produce Award for, and also fresh fruit and vegetables. Well, let's get them in here. Good job. Our growers. This is our future. If they start eating right now, they have a world ahead of them. Good job. Let's show everybody your apron. Look how cute they have a nice apron on. Very nice. Fresh Fruit and Vegetable Program. Okay, let's take a picture. We can continue on, yes. And very importantly, for Toussaint Louverture Lafayette School #6 for being selected as third place winners. Will the representatives of school #6 come on down? And I'm going to call your name. Okay. Anthony Ziobro, which is the principal, Fern Perez, personal assistant, Yalitza Torres, which is the principal, Lacey McConley, teacher, and then we also have our third place, here we go, school #6, James Mondesur, which is our principal, and David Martin, one of our teachers. Congratulations, VIP.
I hit it on myself. So I have the pleasure of introducing our next stars of excellence, and they are dedicated to caring for the well-being of the members of our learning community. They are present in times of crisis, offering a comforting voice and a helping hand to our community in dealing with issues such as grief and loss. And nowadays, more than ever, these following people are needed in our community, especially because of what's going on. So in recognition of National Social Worker Month, please join me in acknowledging the wonderful work done by our school social workers and the work that they do above and beyond the call of duty. So please come forward as I call your name. Maria Brito, Elena Cruz Murray, Guadalupe Ferreiro, Christine Lillis Flaherty, Daniela Grinienko, Jennifer Hernandez, Kenyetta Jackson, Sarah LaFace, Dinora Mejia, Carrie O'Connor, Christine Rapa, Colleen Reynolds, Tanya Santucci, Antonio Sapio, Nafisa Simmons, Lourdes Soto, Jessica Trujillo, Denise Uniaki, Sofia Verma, Maria Vindas, and Steve Zografos. Congratulations to all of you, and thank you for what you do for all of our students.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great honor that I present the 2018 NJAH PERD Award recipient for the Physical Activity Champion Award. Our final Stars of Excellence honoree for this evening was the recipient of the 2018 New Jersey Association for Health, Physical Education, Recreation, and Dance Physical Activity Champion Award at the 99th Annual NJAH PERD Convention in February. The Physical Activity Champion Award recognizes outstanding achievement in promoting quality physical activities within schools, communities, or the state of New Jersey. Since he has served as Physical Education, Health, and Safety, Joseph Priestula has done a wonderful job in coordinating unique and innovative physical education activities for the Elizabeth Public Schools, such as the New York Jets Play 60 program, the district's Unified Sports Program, Summer Health Expo. Unified Program, the Elizabeth Public Schools Health Bee, and the Healthy Leap into Summer Health Expo. Through his dedication and commitment to promoting quality physical activities, Elizabeth Public School students are being equipped with important tools necessary to live a healthy lifestyle. Please join me in saluting the efforts of the Supervisor of Physical Education, Health, and Safety, Joseph Pristula, and congratulating him for the well-deserved recognition for the NJAH PERD. Congratulations, Supervisor.
Didn't understand not from up here, not one word. Couldn't really understand one word.
No.
It was more clear when Jose started to speak without it.
Sure. Good evening. Yesterday, March 14th, our 7 high schools and high school annexes held assemblies on gun violence and school safety on the 1-month anniversary of the tragic school shootings in Parkland, Florida. Elected officials were invited to speak to students, and students were given the platform to express their feelings about these important issues. I would like to thank the student government from all of our high schools for preparing an agenda that truly amplified their student voices. I would also like to thank our board president, Maria Carvalho, for assisting me in the coordination, and all your help is truly appreciated. I'd like to be able to share the highlights from each of our academies. At Thomas A. Edison Career and Technical Academy, students were united and symbolized peace by wearing white t-shirts, gathered in the hallways carrying signs, and conducted a 2-minute moment of silence. Union County Freeholder Chairman Sergio Granados, Board Member Stephanie Gonsalves, Union County Director of Public Safety Andrew Moran, and Union County Chief of Police Chris Debbie conducted a question and answer session with students who expressed concerns about strengthening our security and crisis drill measures to ensure the safety of students and staff members. At Thomas A. Edison Career and Technical Academy, 9th grade at Charles Harris, former State Senator Raymond Lesniak spoke and answered questions from the students. At Elizabeth High School Frank J. Ciccarelli Academy, students led a silent procession through the hallways towards the gymnasium with the name of a victim from the Parkland shootings read out once every minute. Mayor Bollwage, State Senator Scuteri, Elizabeth Board of Education President Maria Carvalho, and New Jersey State Trooper Rich Mondragon spoke and held a question and answer session with students. The assembly also included a performance of Nessun Dora by the EHS Frank J. Ciccarelli Academy Strings Ensemble, a dance by Ms. Lemoyne's 9th period dancers, and a video created by EHS Frank J. Ciccarelli Academy and Jefferson Arts Academy Annex students addressing the issues of guns and violence. At Alexander Hamilton Preparatory Academy, students and staff members lined up in the hallways on all 3 floors and formed a united line. Students distributed 17 notes of kindness in honor of the 17 Parkland victims to other students that they did not know, giving them the opportunity to make new friends. During the assembly, a moment of silence was conducted to remember the Parkland school victims, and Elizabeth Councilman-at-Large Manny Grova addressed the Hamilton students before holding a question and answer session with the students.
At Hamilton Annex, Union County Freeholder Christopher Hudak gave a brief introduction and then called on the students for their questions. Following Freeholder Hudak's visit, Avid Classes conducted an interactive Socratic seminar on gun violence and school safety, and students created positive, kind notes to hand out to other students as part of a random Notes of Kindness activity. At 2:21, the time the tragic events began at Parkland, the school held a moment of silence in memory of the victims. At Thomas Jefferson Arts Academy, the assembly began with the Jefferson Arts Liberty Dancers performing 2 tribute dances, which took place at both the main building and annex assemblies. State Senator Joseph Cryan and Union County Freeholder Angela Garrettson spoke and held a question and answer session with the students at the main building. Elizabeth Councilwoman at Large Patricia Perkins Auguste spoke with students and answered questions at the Thomas Jefferson Arts Academy 9th grade annex. She called the students up to the stage to share their thoughts on school safety and gun violence. At J. Christian Bollwage Finance Academy, students held up signs during the assembly, including 17 signs that each had the name of a victim of the Parkland school shootings and a large sign with student signatures that said, "End gun violence now." State Senator Scuteri, Union County Freeholder Angel Estrada, Mayor Bollwage, and Elizabeth Board of Education President Maria Carvalho addressed the students and provided them with the opportunity to speak to their peers and ask questions. Approximately 1,800 students at John E. Dwyer Technology Academy and Admiral William F. Halsey Health and Public Safety Academy united at the Dunn Sports Center. Seniors from the 2 schools collaborated on forming a human peace sign in the center of the gymnasium, which served as an excellent representation of the day's theme. Former State Senator Raymond Lesniak, Union County Undersheriff Cologne, Elizabeth Councilman Carlos Cedeno, and Elizabeth Board of Education members Diane Barbosa and Stan Neron spoke and answered questions from the students. Several students from Halsey and Dwyer also took the opportunity to address their peers. At our Dwyer Technology Annex, 9th grade academy, Elizabeth Councilman Carlos Torres spoke and answered questions from Dwyer's 9th grade students. The students gathered in the middle of the gymnasium to form a human peace sign. At Halsey Annex, Elizabeth Councilman Kevin Canary discussed school safety and security concerns with students. Students from the Halsey Annex 9th grade JROTC lined the back of the gymnasium while the rest of the students took their seats. Councilman Canary fielded questions ranging from arming teachers to gun control measures. After the question and answer session, Vice Principal McCarthy followed up with a lesson on see something, say something, and the district policies regarding active shooters and security drills. At all of the locations where assemblies took place, a video created by United States Senator Cory Booker was shown to students in which he expressed his gratitude for them. All sites reported that the students enjoyed the dialogue between administration, students, and community officials and appreciated having their voices heard. We are truly proud of the leadership shown by our students and the resulting assemblies that were held at our high schools, as it was a collaborative effort between my administration and our high school students. U.S. Senator Bob Menendez praised Elizabeth's high school students as well, telling them that they have turned their mourning into a movement. These assemblies served as the platform of the power of our student voices. They are also clear illustration of the concern our students have for these issues going on in their schools, their community, their state, and their nation. It's very encouraging to me to see them speak out on these issues, and it's also a heartening sign that the future of our society is already making an impact today. I'd like to share with our community a video that was created capturing the special moments at all of our 7 high schools.
Good morning, Elizabeth High School, and students in Belleville, Cherry Hill, and across New Jersey. As we mark 1 month since the tragic shooting at Stone and Douglas High School, I want to stand with all the young people in New Jersey and across the country who are making their voices heard today.
I'm so grateful to have the opportunity to talk with you today, to encourage you, to thank you. The urgent need in our country for a raft of gun safety efforts that most Americans, gun owners and non-gun owners, agree on. The fact that Congress is not doing enough needs then activism, needs folks who will demand change, needs folks who will organize and activate others, who will protest and who will come out and stand for change, fight for change.
Thank you, Madam Superintendent. And I want to thank everyone that participated and helped put this together. It was truly a team effort. I want to thank all the board members, the elected officials, and most importantly, all the students who worked with us to make sure that everyone's voice was heard. At this time, I would like to share a couple of remarks before opening the meeting to the public participation. I have designated office hours from 5:30 to 7 p.m. every Tuesday night, during which Elizabeth families may make an appointment to meet with me and discuss any issues or concerns pertaining to Elizabeth Public Schools. And that is the same for all of the other board members that are sitting here. Feel free to call the Board of Education, and we can make sure that you receive an appointment to meet with any board member that you'd like. In celebration of Women's History Month, I would just like to recognize the women who serve as my colleagues on the board: Diane Barbosa, Charlene Bathless, Stephanie Gonçalves, and Rosa Moreno Ortega, who have dedicated themselves to serving the Elizabeth community. I also want to acknowledge Superintendent Olga Hugelmeyer and all the women who serve our central office and schools as administrators, teachers, and certified and support staff for their commitment to preparing our students for college and career opportunities. It is encouraging to see how far we have come as women, looking to the left and to the right of me and seeing a majority of women serving on this board and a woman leading our school district. You all do wonderful work and should be very, very proud of all of your accomplishments. I also want to share the wonderful experience I had in speaking to students at yesterday's assembly, and that the district coordinated with our students and elected officials on the municipal, county, state, and national level. It was a really special opportunity to have an inspiring dialogue with those who are most affected by school safety policies, but often have the least opportunity to speak out and affect change to those policies. After being chosen by my colleagues to serve as president of this board in January, I mentioned that this year should be the year of the children. Yesterday was a great example of my vision of work, which are students and celebrating and valuing their hard work, dedication, and teamwork. To all of our high school students, I am very proud of the way you all carried yourselves yesterday, and the way you empowered one another through unity and caring for one another. And for that, I thank you. At this time, the microphones are open for public comment to those who have signed in prior to the session. I shall call individuals to the microphone based on the order of the sign-in sheet. Each statement made by a participant shall be limited to 3 minutes in duration. The total time of public comment shall be limited to 60 minutes. No individual is able to yield their time to another individual. All statements shall be directed to the presiding officer. No participants may address or question board members individually. The following rules for public participation shall apply. Time limits will be strictly enforced. No personal attacks on individuals, no vulgar or indecent language. A person may address the board no more than once during a single meeting. Speakers should refrain from naming individuals. Comments or questions posed during public participation will not be debated. As a reminder, this is a meeting of the board in public, not a meeting of the public. At this time, I call Kathleen Conroy.
Test.
Yes, my name is Kathleen Conroy, and I'm here tonight representing the Elizabeth Education Association. I'm currently the treasurer of an organization that's 3,900 members strong. Madam President, board members, superintendent, distinguished guests, and citizens of Elizabeth. It's my pleasure tonight to thank you for agreeing in concept to the sick leave bank. This is something that the association has been very eager to get started. We feel it would be a great help to all of our members in reassuring them at a time of grave need. And so we thank you that it's getting on the agenda soon and that we've agreed in concept. And we are very happy that once we get this one great idea moving forward, it's always better to work together and get a good thing going. We thank you.
Thank you. At this time, I call John Lippy.
Good evening, Board Commissioners, Superintendent, Madam President, guests. Happy St. Patrick's Day. I want to come up and congratulate and thank the board for the resolution this evening. Last month I spoke on the medical waiver payments. I see that a good number of our members were paid or will be paid through resolution tonight. Going back several years, that was the result of a lot of hard work and negotiation between us and the board, and I thank you. I wish it had been a little sooner, but we got it done. However, I was just texted by an individual friend of mine tonight who was not on the list, and there are a couple of others who also contacted us today, and hopefully, Mr. Kennedy, we can contact you tomorrow, and we can investigate and hopefully get these resolved as soon as possible. I also want to say that being able to clarify this medical waiver, I hope that we take it as an inspiration to move forward to resolve whatever grievances and differences that we have in a timely manner. There are a lot of things sitting out there that have been dragging on for a long time, and I hope that we can get this done. And moving into negotiations next year, I want to get all of these things cleaned up. By the way, I am John Lippy, First Vice President of the Elizabeth Education Association. Thank you. Good evening.
Thank you. Our next speaker, Joe Cortico.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, let me congratulate you for the terrific job that you did yesterday. The way this program was coordinated, there were skepticals out there, and I attended the program in Dwyer and Halsey, and I was so pleased to see our politicians come out, our elected officials come out and interact with our students and allow our students to dialogue with them. Just wonderful. And I've been working here for 40 years. We had a lot of assemblies at Elizabeth High School, and this is one of the best ones we ever had. Our students were terrific. Our kids, just amazing. My congratulations not only to the board, to everyone that put this together, to all the officials that come out and engage themselves in this discussion, but most of all, to our student body. Our student body, congratulations, students of Elizabeth High School and all the high schools we have, even though I only attended the one in Dwyer and Halsey, but I got the feedback from my members, so the Elizabeth Education Association congratulates everyone that worked on this. Congratulations again.
Thank you, Mr. Cortico. Salam Ismail.
Good evening, members of the board. I'm not totally retired, that's the rumor. But I wanted to see if we can revisit some issues.
I'm sorry, we can't hear Mr. Ishmael. Okay. Can you start the clock over? Mr. Ishmael, 3 minutes. 3 minutes. We're going to start the clock over.
Okay, you said 3 minutes.
Yeah, we're starting it over. We couldn't hear you. We want you to start over. Good evening.
Salam Ismail, a member of the United Youth Council. I want to revisit some issues that we had, specifically with the African American community, dealing with issues of the curriculum inclusion and the Amistad Law, gun violence, which is a concern of mine. Next month will mark the 10th anniversary of a loved one who was shot and murdered on Anna and Monroe in April, which launched our organization to a statewide campaign against gun violence and pushed some legislation forward. Walkouts, protests, visuals are very important. Policy, programs, action is necessary. So I want to talk about that. As you well know, April 4th will mark the 50th anniversary of Dr. King's death. Because of Dr. King, many of us in this room benefit from his legacy, from the Voting Rights Act to the Civil Rights Act. April 4th, nationwide, people will be holding vigils. Our organization will be holding one 4 o'clock, April 4th to 6 o'clock. What I'm asking the board to do is to put the same kind of effort into encouraging our young people, because it will be at the monument, which is right across from City Hall, right adjacent to the Jefferson House, to encourage our young people to participate in this effort. You all have a flyer. Hopefully that can be distributed around the school. I know there's school systems around the country will be doing something. I hope our school here in Elizabeth do the same. Lastly, I'm going to be bringing in some experts on education, specifically dealing with some concerns on equality in terms of the African American community. Those experts will be calling for meetings with representatives of the body to talk about their findings. When that happens, I hope there's a strong reaction to those findings, and that these concerns, as we've been mentioning the last some years now, be a concern well enough that it will impact African American students. That is the same kinds of success and achievement and desires is also spilled on them. This is no mark on anybody. This is just something that we need to do. And I hope you, Madam President, and other members of the board adhere to that, and we all work together into addressing that as such. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Ishmael. Kason Little.
Good evening, esteemed members of the board. You guys will be receiving flyers right now. So the flyers that I'm passing out to you guys, today on my lunch break in school, I was able to collect information from students who they felt in need that it was very important that this board be made aware of. Now on those flyers, you will see in the quotation marks the issues, concerns, suggestions that students are facing or students have for you. And on that sheet, you see the title right here. It says Passion, Perspective, Voice, and Connection. All those words that's on that flyer is very dear to my heart. It is dear to my heart because, as you all aware, I am the only student that come and attend every single meeting on every single meeting schedule basis. I am the only student that do that. And it takes strength, it takes courage to do so. We have over 27,000 students in this district. And for me to be the only one, that speaks major volumes. Because students either say to me on a daily basis that they're being discouraged to speak, things are being retaliated against them, they either don't have the courage or they're not being motivated in school or at home. But you see, at school, students should be uplifted instead of downlifted. Because last time I checked, you all are here to serve and represent us. Put our best interests first and at heart. Yesterday, you all participated in the assembly. We had officials that joined us, but a lot of students were still upset because they still could not make their voices heard. Now, I know I was a part of that assembly, and I'm glad I was, but I am also upset at the fact that there were still hundreds of students in that audience that just couldn't voice their opinion. And if they did voice their opinions, and the ones that did voice their opinions, they came up to me this morning and said that they were either being threatened for not going to prom, or they were either being threatened for not graduating. That is horrible. That is their amendment right, and they have every right to exercise that right. They are free and they are entitled. And we have the biggest stake in this district. Even if there's an unimaginable bus, they still have the power to make the wheels move forward and in the right direction. This assembly and this walkout, this national walkout that had took place, was not about none of you. It was not about the pictures that were shown on that screen or the things that were displayed on Facebook. It was about us students getting our point across and making our voices heard. We are the future, and this is how we should lead, by positive examples for our stakeholders of tomorrow. And with the support of you all, students can make it very far. Have a great evening.
Thank you, Mr. Little. Christina Marrera.
Thank you. Good evening. I just want to say bravo to Kason for having the courage to come to every board meeting and speak on behalf of his peers. It takes a lot of courage to come here and speak, and you always do a great job. I want to take this time to also acknowledge and thank all of our district social workers and guidance counselors who are overburdened, overworked, and underappreciated. I have spoken before on the need for more guidance counselors and social workers, especially in an urban school district like ours. One guidance counselor for every 500 students and one social worker, in most cases for every 2 schools, is not enough. School social workers provide a wide range of services to our children, from assessing students for substance abuse, supporting students with physical and emotional issues, helping to address barriers and concerns over academic performance, issues with bullying, suicide, and homicide concerns, helping parents address issues and concerns with their children, taking part in INRS and 504 meetings, and all of that can happen in one day. It is more than a full-time job. Yet most of our school social workers split themselves between 2 schools, while some only serve 1 school. Many children in our community are exposed to things like gun violence, domestic violence, dealing with parents who are on drugs or they themselves, homelessness, divorce, poverty, just to name a few. How do our children deal with these things? How difficult is it for a child to focus on school when they have these underlying worries? Most children don't speak up and ask for help, and so adults don't notice until they start doing things like acting out aggressively towards other students, struggling academically, they isolate themselves, or they try to hurt themselves. Then the usual response is to discipline them, detention or suspension, which does nothing to address the underlying issue. But what they really need is help from a social worker or guidance counselor. But in most cases, if you don't have an IEP, you don't have access to a social worker. I would like to think that there is another resource for our children when the social worker is not there. We would hope that school counselors can take the time to foster relationships with students, parents, and staff, which would increase the likelihood that students report issues that affect them and their classmates before it escalates. Connecting with students in a meaningful way increases the likelihood that they will come to you when there is a problem. Counselors can't do this if they are bogged down with being the anti-bullying coordinator or the head of the 504 teams, or advising students of their schedules, and the one thing that takes up the majority of school counselors' time, overseeing testing. When do they have...
Thank you, Ms. Marrero. Patty Galan?
When the guidance counselors have the time to actually attend to when do they actually have the time to attend to student needs? I implore you, Christina implores all of you, I do too, as you begin to work on the budget and prepare to make decisions where funds are spent, please think about the benefits of having a full-time social worker in each school and decreasing the number of students that a school counselor services in each school. On a side note, and speaking of testing, we just want to remind parents again that they have the right to refuse any and all standardized testing, including the PARCC test. A parent of a 3rd grader reached out to Christina today saying she was told her child must take the test. Again, if you as a parent decide you do not want your child to take these tests, you have the right to refuse, and nobody can force your child to take a test. And now I'll say my part. You know that I've spoken before about starting the meeting on time. I have always said that all of our time is valuable. I understand that. But if you can't start the meeting at 6:30 on time, then don't tell the public that the meeting starts at 6:30. Change it to 7. It's not fair. It's not fair to any of you up there, because obviously you're rushing from other places and you can't get here on time. So it might not be a bad idea if you changed it to 7 so that you could all be here and have time to get here. And one other thing. Did we really need to block off 60 parking spaces tonight? 60. There was no parking for the public, and I counted the number of people who assist all of you, and they have, sure, they deserve a parking spot because they're assisting you, but there's 60 parking spots out there. There's not 60 of you in here running this meeting and assisting, and yet 60 of them were blocked off. And personally, since I've attended, let's see, every single board meeting for the last 3.5 years, I think I should get my own spot.
At this time, I close the public comment portion of the meeting. Mr. Kennedy, let's go through the agenda. Tab 1A, minutes of the meeting from February 22nd,
And 13.
February 22nd, 2018.
No, set February 13 and 22nd.
I'm sorry, February 13th, 2018, and February 22nd?
Yes.
Any questions or concerns? Hearing none, roll call, please.
No, no one did it. Approve the minutes?
Second?
Been properly first and seconded, roll call?
Barbosa.
Yes.
Bathlis.
Yes.
Gonsalves.
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
Moreno Ortega.
Yes.
Naran.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Carvalho.
Yes. Tab 1B, report of the treasurer.
Second?
Properly moved and seconded. Any questions or concerns on the report? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Barbosa.
Yes.
Bathlis.
Yes.
Gonsalves.
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
Moreno Ortega.
Yes.
Naran.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Carvalho.
Yes. Tab 2A, personnel report, and tab 2B, supplemental personnel report.
Move the tab.
Second.
Has been properly moved and seconded. Any questions or concerns? Hearing none. Mr. Kennedy, roll call, please.
Barbosa.
Yes.
Bathlis.
Yes.
Gonsalves.
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
Moreno Ortega.
Yes.
Naran.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Carvalho.
Yes. Tab 3, tuitions report.
Move the report.
Second.
Properly moved and first and seconded. Any questions or concerns on the tuitions report? Hearing none. Mr. Kennedy, roll call, please.
Barbosa.
Yes.
Bathlis.
Yes.
Gonsalves.
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
Moreno Ortega.
Yes.
Naran.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Carvalho.
Yes. Tab 4A, 4B, 4BB, 4C, 4D, and 4E.
Accept reports 4A through 4E.
Second?
Has been properly moved and seconded. Any questions or concerns? Board Member Neron. Do you want to speak?
I think 4E, we can't do it yet.
Oh, okay. I thought you were pressing the button. No.
I would like to,
So this is tab 4A, 4B, 4BB, 4C, and 4D, Mr. Kennedy, not 4E.
so I would like to amend it to accept superintendent's report from 4A to 4D.
Second.
Questions or concerns from the board members? Hearing none. Mr. Kennedy, roll call, please.
Barbosa.
Yes.
Bathlis.
Yes.
Gonsalves.
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
Moreno Ortega.
Yes.
Naran.
Yes, with the exception of 4B number 2. Said no.
Rodriguez.
Oh, thank you.
Carvalho.
Yes. Tab 5 and
We need-
5,
Excuse me, Mr. Vossler needs to give us his report.
Mr. Vossler.
HIB report.
Let's, absolutely. Good evening, Mr. Vossler.
Good evening. Good evening, board members, Superintendent Hugelmeyer, fellow staff, and community members. The HIB report for the month of March, since our last board meeting up through March 13th. Our district school social workers and school counselors have conducted 34 HIB investigations. Of those investigations, 22 cases were unfounded, 3 cases were inconclusive, and 9 cases were founded for HIB. Of the alleged victims, 20 were male, 16 were female, 31 were regular education students, 5 were students with disabilities. Of the alleged offenders, we have 45 students that were male, 21 were female, 57 were regular education students, and 9 were students with disabilities. The actions and services that were provided for those investigations and cases: 11 skill development lessons, 31 counseling sessions, 2 behavioral interventions, 6 referrals for outpatient treatment, 4 changes of class or school. There were 11 in-school detentions.
Excuse me.
Mr. Vossler.
Sorry, what page are you on? Because I'm not following.
We are on page 2 of the summary report.
Thank you.
We have 11 in-school detentions. We have 16 out-of-school suspensions with 50 total days of suspension. And the demographics of those suspensions are broken down. Page 3.
Thank you.
2 administrative counseling sessions. There were 17 parent conferences. 3 cases are continuing to be monitored. And out of the 9 founded cases, 2 were founded on the basis of race or national origin, 2 were founded on the basis of color, 1 was founded on the basis of sexual orientation, 2 were founded on the basis of gender, and 9 were founded on the basis of other criteria. At the next regularly scheduled meeting, after board members receive the report of the HIB investigations, the statute requires that the board issues a decision in writing to affirm, reject, or modify the superintendent's decision pertaining to the cases that were reported to you at our last meeting. So in order for you to do so, the 74 cases that were reported to you at the last meeting, there's a packet of investigation summaries which tonight you are voting on. Are there any questions?
Yes.
Thank you again for the report, and thank you again for the breakdown on page 2. Could you possibly in the future, maybe either next month or the following, and start to include repeat offender? Like, for instance, if we have an offender today, if that person has a separate incident where that student is once again labeled the offender, could we have a separate column somewhere in there that we could see how many repeat offenders?
For the founded cases or all cases?
At this point, if we could do all, if possible.
Sure.
But I mean, you'll have to work with the data and then let us know if that's, the limitations of that. But if possible, if we could get, even if you could break that down into, cases and then also confirmed, just to tease out that repeat offender, see if we can see where it takes us.
Sure.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem.
Mr.
I have
Ross.
a question. Yes.
Board member?
Yeah, thank you for your report. I will appreciate if I create my own data and identify like 39 incident is before 12 o'clock, 29 incident after, 39 before, after lunch or during lunchtime, and 29 before lunch. That means it will be great for me if I know at what time is the issue. Now, I create my own data, like, for example, I have each school how many incidents, and now I can analyze what school we need to address better. I have one school only with 1 incident, and I have another school with 6 incidents. But for me, it is hard to take page one by one. I don't know if we can create Excel sheets with all the schools, and then how many incidents per school.
Yeah, that's on the last page.
Where? Oh, you give us.
It's the last page of the
Page 4.
Okay, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And I'm very happy right now because I can understand better. Thank you. Thank
You're
you
welcome.
so much.
Mr. Vossler, the 17 parent conferences that are being held, are those cases all still open, or you had 17 parent conferences?
Those were 17 conferences that were already held for the cases that have been completed.
And those were closed?
Yes.
Thank you. Any other questions for Mr. Vossler?
Madam
Board
President.
member?
So I'm going to continue with what Rosa was adding. So we have it by school. Now, and I don't know if this is possible, but for example, is there, and again, I'm just looking at it and I'm going to use it as an example. School number 1, total incidents, 11. How many were bullying? How many were name calling? How many were, that's I think what Rosa was trying to get down to. Is there a way to do that, or no, there's just so many?
So, for example, School 1 had 11 total incidents, and 3 were founded for bullying. So
For bullying?
They were confirmed based on the criteria that we have to go through for the law. So there was 11 investigations or reports or allegations, and then when the investigation ensued, the conclusion was 3 of them were founded as per what the criteria of the law states. And then 8 of them, things may have happened, but they weren't founded cases.
Yeah. So in the package is what, it describes it fully, right? The package. Okay.
I'd also like to refer to the information that we post on the cloud. It provides all the backup reports to the summary that Mr. Vossler provides tonight. So you can look at each individual one and to see all of that backup documentation. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes.
the specific investigations from last meeting. So last meeting, we had the 74 investigations. So tonight, when you vote on those cases, all of those cases are broken down specifically as to what happened in the case and what interventions were provided and what the outcome was.
Oh, the intervention is on there, right? I
On
hadn't seen
the
it.
executive summary packet, yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Yes, also drawing on what Commissioner Moreno was saying about the time, because we're wondering, are there more incidents at lunchtime versus after school or during school? And I know that may be a little tedious with the amount of incidences and the times, but I noticed on the reports that you do have times. But we're wondering if we could analyze to see if there's a pattern.
Sure. Yeah, the hipster system that we use for our investigations can break down that data to determine, percentages of where the hotspots are, like where a lot of the allegations are occurring, things of that nature, so we can break that down for you.
Yeah, I think that would be something that we would like to see as well, if possible.
Sure. So location and time period.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
We already did. Yeah. May I have a motion to accept the HIB report?
I move to accept the HIB report.
We did.
Second.
I know we did, but
Yep, we did do it.
do you want to do it again, or we're good?
No, we already
We're
voted
good?
on it.
All right. Tab 5 and 5A.
Second.
It's authorization to participate in field trips. Any questions or concerns? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Barbosa.
Yes.
Bathless.
Yes.
Gonzalez.
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
Marino Ortega.
Yes.
Naron.
Yes.
Rodriguez. Carvalho.
Yes. Tab 6, authorization to pay vouchers, and tab 6A, transfer of funds.
Move tab.
Second.
Any questions or concerns on the vouchers or the funds? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Barbosa.
Yes.
Bathless.
Yes.
Gonzalez.
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
Marino Ortega.
Yes.
Naron.
Yes.
Rodriguez. Carvalho.
Yes. Tab 7
Award the contract?
has been moved. I need a second.
Second.
Has been properly seconded. Any questions or concerns on the contracts? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Barbosa.
Yes.
Bathless.
Yes.
Gonzalez.
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
Marino Ortega.
Yes.
Naron.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Carvalho.
Yes. Tab 9, vendors' reports and current expenses. I need a motion.
Move the report. Motion to move the report.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Barbosa.
Yes.
Bathless.
Yes.
Gonzalez.
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
Marino Ortega.
Yes.
Naron.
Abstain.
Rodriguez. Carvalho.
Yes on everything except for page 8, abstain. Tab 10, Autism Awareness. Tab 10A, National Library Week. Tab 10B, Requisition for Taxes. Tab 10C, Payment for Medical Health Insurance Waiver. Tab 10D, Accepting Resignation and Approving, Tab 10 to 10C. Motion?
Motion to move tabs 10A through 10C.
Second.
Questions or concerns on any of those tabs? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Barbosa.
Yes.
Bathless.
Yes.
Gonzalez.
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
Marino Ortega.
Yes.
Naron.
Yes.
No. Mr. Naron.
He's a neuron.
Stanley, I think I voted.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Carvalho.
Yes. At this time, the president requests a motion to go into private session to consider matters exempt under the Open Public Meeting Act, specifically for discussion of personnel, specifically DA, MD, SQ, CS, BH, VL, EM, appointment, legal, specifically settlement agreements, Innisfree Foundation, TH, CF, AL, and LG, confirmation of residency investigative results, contract approval and negotiations issued. The board will reconvene in public to take formal action. Motion?
Motion. Second.
Second.
Roll call, please. Oh,
Barbosa.
You're okay? Okay. Yes.
Bathless.
Yes.
Gonzalez.
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
Marino Ortega.
Yes.
Naron.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Carvalho.
yes.
Madam Clerk, Before we go into